Hello, lovely viewers, and a happy new year to all of you viewing us from wherever you might be. This is the Environmental Dialogue right here on UC TV. I am your host, Patience Alaso, an entrepreneurship mentor and coach, a public speaker, and all the other things because I am a master at many things. But enough with that. You can always catch us every evening on Wednesday at 8 p.m. and you can find us on YouTube at 8 p.m. as well. Today we are discussing a very fundamental topic, and that is the promotion of green spaces in urban areas. I am not going to do all the talking because I have in studio with me an amazing and lovely lady. Her name is Samantha. You've seen her here quite a number of times. She is a researcher. She is a climate activist. She is into advocacy for clean energy. And to tell us more about herself is Samantha herself. You're welcome, Samantha, to the show.
Thank you. Thank you, Patience.
Tell us more about yourself, your name, what you do, and any other thing you think is relevant for the audience to know.
A good evening to you all viewers. As she mentioned earlier, I'm Kungu Samantha, a passionate climate activist, SDG advocate, and I'm into innovations, especially for clean energy.
Okay.
Yeah, and a co-founder of Green Tech, not to mention by a few.
So briefly, what does Green Tech do? What do you do?
Green Tech, we come up with innovative solutions to currently existing challenges in regard to green energy, that is solar and renewable energy, and also innovative solutions to curb the ongoing climate change crisis in the country and beyond.
Yes. So our topic is directly in line with actually what you are doing, because we are discussing green spaces and of course in urban cities.
Yes.
So the main key element here is how can we promote, how can we enhance green spaces within our communities. And so the first thing we are going to do to allow our audience really understand the essence of this topic is defining what green spaces are.
Yes, so green spaces are, it could be a private or a public area that contains vegetation. I can give, for example, an example of parks, of walkways that contain some flowers, some vegetation around, and basically that, some trees for shade and different purposes. And it's just absurd that most people in the country haven't yet appreciated green spaces, especially in the urban cities. But as we discuss, we shall delve into obviously why that is happening,
and how we can help them embrace the green spaces.
Because you can clearly see that in rural areas, they're embracing this. It's natural that even when I want to sit and have a beautiful meal, I'm going to sit under a tree, sit on a mat, and have that shade, think about my life, have discussions. I mean, I always do that when I'm at my grandmother's place. So
yes,
when I come back to the city, it's less of that.
Yeah, it's less of that. And I believe that's why many of us have a retreat in a place surrounded by trees and lovely nature scenery, simply because it's not within our cities, and that is why we find like an escape within our villages and the like. And so do we have examples, or do we have particular areas within maybe Kampala or Mbara towns, cities particularly, where we can get a grasp of these green spaces?
As I've mentioned earlier, that in urban cities especially, people aren't appreciating these green spaces. So some of them that were existent before, because we've seen the government pushing forward for the green spaces in the cities, and you find they are established, but it's it's like within a year that they die out, they phase out, and they are now used for different other things.
Yeah.
So I can give an example of a few. For example, now like the CJs, opposite the CJs, there's some gardens there that are usually accessed by people. I mean, not so long ago, I had a picnic with my friends there, but you find it's having so many people just relaxed, seated, jazzing. Now that's the beauty of the green spaces, in that it, you know, increases that that social cohesion among people.
Yeah.
And also I can give an example of one of them that was created along Bombo Road, some leisure park.
Okay.
Yes, and there are quite a few of them.
There are quite a few.
Katwe,
Yeah.
Green Park.
And that means there is really need for more of those.
Yes,
and you've talked
true.
about the social cohesion and as one of a benefit. So what do you think are other benefits of having these green spaces?
As you mentioned
yes.
earlier, you talked about how you look for that escape.
Yeah.
But why are you looking for an escape? Because you want to relax your mind. You want to have some space of noise, of congestion. So the beauty with these green spaces, they help improve people's mental health. If you notice, some of the rehabilitation centers have these gardens where they, you know, I've been to Butabika before, but you can see some trees all over. And I had a chance to interact with one of the mad people, but
how was that conversation? They must have been hilarious.
Exactly. I can't go deep into the details, but you can see that they have this how do I call it? I can't say free range, but like they move freely. They have space to sit down and lament on whatever they are lamenting on, because it kind of improves people's mental health. And now, not just for even the mad people, I mean, just imagine how good it would feel moving out of your office, stressed out, confused, and you're going under a tree. Yeah. You're going to just sit down on some beautiful grass, what we call pascalam.
Yes, in Uganda.
Exactly. So it improves people's mental health and well-being. But just not that, it also helps, you know, trap those... what do they call carbon
emitted gases?
Yeah, the emitted gases, because, you know, it kind of improves the air quality. That's why there are so many initiatives right now that are pushing forward for like planting of trees. But you find even these like the trees that are being planted are usually pushed to the villages.
Yes.
Or to places that are far from the cities, because there is no space, you know. But some of the other components, at least that I see people are doing, are the vertical gardens.
Okay.
Because I've seen exactly rooftop gardens. Because all these plants are, first of all, drought resistant and fire resistant. So you find they are improving not only the quality, but also the environment around. It even gives a beautiful kind of view. I've seen, if you've looked at some fences that are just filled with plants, like it's a plant fence or it's a bamboo fence, and people are adopting this, some of them.
They are.
Yes, but a few of them haven't yet appreciated that beauty. Yes, so it does help a lot with the environment, but also with people. As I mentioned, the mental health and the well-being, but also it helps with the environment around us. Yeah. So
yes, those are quite a number of them. And when it comes to the heat waves, you get to realize that trees are very good absorbers of heat.
Yes.
And recently I was watching the front news, and you remember the fire that recently caught in Los Angeles, and many reporters came up to say that ChatGPT caused the fire, and I was like, hey, wait. How does AI cause the fire? And then they go like, that so many people are adopting the use of ChatGPT. Everyone is on their phone, and the searches are so many. And remember, these are engines that use a lot of heat, and that means there's a lot of water required to combat the heat or reduce the heat. So these engines are supposed to be exposed to some form of water to reduce on the heating. And so I was like, okay, that's interesting to listen to. And that brings me back to the point of the role that trees do contribute. Because when we have trees within our cities, cities that are very engaged in economic activity, we have transportation, above all our buildings are too squeezed that there's a lot of heat trapped within, and at the end of the day there are no trees that can, you know, reduce on the heat that is being emitted. And I think that plays a very crucial role, having
and
trees
also,
within our cities.
If you notice, one of the challenges, actually major challenges in the cities right now, we speak of Kampala, we speak of Kalerwe, you know, all these urban cities around, they are facing an issue of floods. Have you seen some of the clips whereby you have to be carried by some mugged guy to just cross a road? Some borders can't pass through some places because of like the flooded areas, especially when it rains.
Yeah.
These are also one of the repercussions of not having enough green spaces in the city.
True.
Because, as you mentioned, the importance of these trees, one of them is to, first of all, trap that water, but also filtering that water that, you know, that goes through the soil. So we just don't, I think, understand the importance of these trees. That's why we don't find them, like, the need to plant or the need to promote the green spaces. But it does affect us in the long run. And some of the challenges we're facing is because I think we just don't know why we need the green spaces.
Okay.
Yes, but the trees play a very important role. Very important role, by the way.
They actually do. And that is why we are having this conversation.
Yes.
That is why shows like the environmental dialogue are very essential and crucial for the entire audience, simply because we come from a point of sensitization, come from a point of information, with an aim of getting you into a place of appreciating all the resources we have, all the environmental, you know, planting theories that we get to bring to you. So at the end of the day, that is why we have this show, and I hope you are appreciating what we are discussing. And now that brings me back to you, Samantha.
Yes.
What role do you think we can play for someone like you who is into tech? What role do you think tech contributes in appreciating the need of green spaces?
So with technology comes a lot of things. It can be good, it can be bad. But we first of all have to, before we even go into the technological bit, we have to first appreciate the simple tasks that we can do. It doesn't take much if you planted just one tree in your compound. You know because one of the reasons is that there is too much construction. But even with the construction, people are so into pavers, people are so into just cementing the whole compound and stuff like that. So if we could have just a few trees planted in our respectful places, be it your office space, be it your home space, plant a few trees, have the vertical plants to cover the walls, even the roofs, you know, because they do contribute a lot. But also we need to have some vegetation along the pathways. When you're walking, you have the chance to pick out some few flowers, a rough example, but we can have, because I've seen some of the Kampala roads having, you know, some plants that are beautiful, and at least the government is trying to put effort in at least having them along the road, in between, you know, like the people's walkways. And also, if you've seen some roundabouts, they are filled with some green. There's some green to eat. Yes. So there are different ways not only the government can do, but also at a personal level. If you're thinking of construction, if you're thinking of having space, especially now for like partnerships, you can have partnerships, because the government has partnered with some private businesses to designate some green spaces.
Yeah.
But also as a person, if you know that there is some land that is there, instead of having it go to waste, you can have some trees planted. As coming here today, and I passed by some place somewhere there in Lunguja, the person just planted trees. It's not big land, by the way, but they just planted a few trees, and it looks real beautiful, and it's next to gardens.
Yeah.
So you can imagine people are trying to push forward this, but if it's not collective effort, it might not be felt.
True.
So in the long run, we have to think of having different stakeholders come on board to first of all promote this and push forward for greener spaces in cities. So it comes from a personal personal level, but also a collaborative kind of effort to push forward for the green spaces.
Exactly.
Yes.
And you've been mentioning about the construction bit. And what role do you think urban planning or the urban planners, we're looking at all the different entities in regards to urban planning. Let's say government has brought in constructors from China. That is one category of urban planners. We're looking at the architects. So what do you think urban planning is able to do in order to promote greener spaces?
Urban planning has to, formulate some strategies, especially for now, like the people in charge of construction, as you've said, the land surveyors, the architects, everyone, especially in the construction industry now. This goes to you have to think about incorporating some of these green spaces in almost every infrastructure that you set up. Every building, if it's possible, that every building would come with something green on it. Now that goes back to like policy formation and everything, because some of the policies are already existent. For the green spaces, we can speak of the Uganda Wildlife Authority rules and regulations, especially in protecting like the wildlife, but also the natural resources. We can speak of the Uganda Green Growth Development Strategy.
Yes.
Exactly. So some of these policies are already existent. And even the local government, is it the 1997 Local Government Act, which decentralized the powers of protecting the natural resources to the local government. So if it comes from the grassroots levels, we can push forward for this. But if it comes to construction, let's have some of these policies reformed. As I've mentioned, if we can have some green spaces on almost every construction that is being set up, would be filled with a lot of green spaces in the city.
Yes, exactly.
But I believe people haven't just appreciated it yet. That's why it's not yet out there as much. But we can push forward for this. It's collaborative effort. Let's think of reforming some policies, but also let's think on a personal level. You'd want to have some green around.
Exactly.
The flowers, it gives some beautiful kind of view. So if we can embrace this, not only for the beauty, but also for the betterment of our well-being and mental health and our environment, we can do something for ourselves and the environment.
Exactly. And you don't need to have huge chunks of land in order for you to try and plant a few trees here and there. So at the end of the day, what we're trying to say is that begin with what you have. Begin with what you can access, okay? You can turn this into a business idea. I've seen young people or people around planting their own groceries within their homes, and they're like, okay, enough with the buying of the vegetables, enough. And they have a balcony at their, house where they can plant all the vegetables they want. So at the end of the day, what are we trying to say? We are trying to say that the greener spaces can be achieved within our cities, and we are talking about collaborative effort.
And as a student of Chambogo, some of our halls have, the halls of residences, have some spaces which are green. And people, you've talked about the planting of some of these vegetables, especially around our home spaces. You find you don't need to go out and buy tomatoes because you can plant them. It just requires a small sack and soil.
And you are good to go.
Yes, good to go. Cabbages, tomatoes, carrots.
Everything you need at your craving. So lovely viewers, we are going in for a very short commercial break, and when you come back, come and join us as we continue to demystify this topic of promoting green spaces in our urban areas. Catch you.
UCTV, good news for all. Kuleza Farm with Centenary Bank agribusiness solar loan of up to 50 million shillings for a solar-powered irrigation system on your farm. Enjoy a grace period tailored to your cash flows, and loan offer amounts from 100,000 up to 50 million Uganda shillings with flexible loan periods up to 60 months. Apply for a Centenary Bank agribusiness solar loan through our branches, agents, and enjoy a fixed interest rate of just 1.7% per month. Kuleza Farm with Centenary Bank agribusiness solar loan today and watch your farming dreams come to life. Visit any of our nearest branch today or call our toll-free line 0800 0800 200 555 or 0800 335 344.
Centenary Bank.
Centenary Bank is a member of the Center Group regulated by Bank of Uganda. Customer deposits of up to 10 million shillings are protected by the Deposit Protection Fund of Uganda. Terms and conditions apply.
Support the Uganda Catholic Television with MTN Momo. Step 1. Dial star 165 3 hash. Step 2. Enter merchant code 180572. Step 3. Enter any amount from 500 Uganda shillings. Step 4. Pay using MTN mobile money. Step 5. Enter PIN code and send. Step 6. You will receive a confirmation text for supporting the Uganda Catholic Television.
Ronaldo down in the area, penalty!
Don't miss the sports link on UCTV. Catch us every Monday to Friday from 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. as we take you into the thrilling world of sports in football.
And Messi! Thuram! Mbappe!
Saka shoot, deflects in, Arsenal have the lead!
Netball,
Nasanga taking the shot. And look at that exceptional steal.
motorsports, boxing, swimming, and much more. UCTV Sports Link with Samgenza Mustafa. Only on UCTV. Good news for all.
Tiene que soñar.
Hello and welcome to UCTV. Welcome to Connect with Mary.
You're the Alpha and the Omega.
The Catholic Television. I'm Sunday Gloria Aboch with UCTV News.
We need people to pay for content.
Bernardo Silva, Matheus Nunes, and Haaland!
Swings it across to Christie.
UCTV. Good news for all.
Oh, Susanna. Yo, what's up, everybody? My name is Rixel. Whenever it turns your lunchtime, we keep your vibes spiced always with your #1 lunch show.
No, I don't see it often.
We entertain.
I'm so insecure.
Educate, interact, inform, and hold random interviews every Monday to Friday from 1:45 to 3 p.m. only on UCTV with me, your host, Rixel. The Lunch Vibe. Keep your vibe spiced always.
Hello and welcome back to Connect with Mary on the Uganda Catholic Television. Good news for all. Today, like I told you earlier, we are going to talk about the 7 sorrows of Mary.
You know, for me, the strength of Mary, I think, we are looking at Mary as a symbol of strength and resilience.
When Simeon saw Jesus, because the angel God had revealed to him that he will not die until he sees.
If it was not the woman, the mother of Jesus.
We are sister counselors. We are here to share with you about a number of topics, issues concerning human life.
We have groups, can have a group of children, a group of youth, families.
We also offer workshops to a variety of group of people. We go to schools, we go to parishes, to sisters' congregations.
Every Monday, Saturday and Sunday.
Children, how are you feeling? Are you happy? Are you being
punished for nothing.
The elderly, are you feeling challenged in the world? Are you rejected? Husband and wife, don't miss.
UCTV, good news for all.
That we are talking about, but enforcement of the currently existing policies and the rules and the regulations is lacking. Okay. Because why do we know that wetlands are not supposed to be encroached, and then you find the following day some company has set up a factory in a wetland?
In that particular
yes.
wetland. And
I'm sure from where we're from, you're seeing some of the people being evicted, because I usually pass by Busega. But there were like 2 taxi parks along the Michiana Road.
Yeah.
But now they are not there because the government is pushing forward, first of all, to like have these enforcements, like these policies respected. But also we cannot neglect the fact that there are some people that are above the law, obviously, that are encroaching these spaces. Yes, you find that you're not supposed to encroach a wetland, you're not supposed to do this and that, but because you think you're above the law, you go forward and because a poor person really cannot fill up a wetland. That's for fact.
You're speaking in paradox. Do you know who some of those people are, or?
No, I don't need to mention them, but you know them. Yeah. You also know them, exactly. But that draws back to the actual issue, is that there is poor enforcement of some of these policies. Yes.
Okay.
And also some of the other things we're facing is maintenance. I can give you an example of this leisure park that was formed opposite Watoto. If you looked at it back then, it had a fountain, a beautiful fountain, some beautiful green around it. But it's so absurd when you pass around that place right now.
There's nothing.
There is nothing.
Close to a green space.
Yes, everything has been vandalized. That's where you find the street beggars seated. That's where you find different, different caveras and stuff. The place it's not pleasant. It's not pleasant to look at. But that's just one of the spaces out there.
Yes.
Exactly. So we can clearly see that the maintenance of these green spaces is still lacking a lot.
Yes.
And this is a call now to whoever is responsible of first of all, setting up the spaces, but also maintaining them, that it's really needed. That even if we're advocating for having more of these green spaces within the cities, we need to find ways of maintaining them so that they can serve the future generations.
Yes.
I keep talking about how the actions that we are taking now are going to affect our kids. And if we are not, in fact, not our kids, but also like our future generations. So if we are not keen with the actions that we take now, we are likely to affect the generations to come. Just imagine in the future when there is no green at all, it's so hot. The climate change crisis is already alarming at this stage, yet we already have some green. Now what of when it's not there at all? Because you're hungry to construct. I mean, speaking of cities, Kampala is growing every day, and when we speak of the numbers, I can't give the details, but like the numbers are abnormally increasing.
Yes,
people are moving from villages to towns. But the more they come into the cities, the more they affect it in one way or the other.
Yes, the
congestion,
the encroachment on land.
There is congestion, there is encroachment on land. Because you come, you have to find where to stay.
Exactly.
You're not going to sleep by the roadside. That's why people are constructing rentals. You'd rather have trees cut down so that you can have rentals for people that are coming. The population is alarming, and because it's alarming, people are looking for ways to survive. So that's why you're going to find the trees are cut down. You want to have, a small segment of pavers because you don't have enough space to maybe have pascalum or or plant a tree. So those are some of really the challenges we are facing, and it's really heartbreaking.
Yes,
it is, because I can imagine waking up to a lot of noise, polluted air, floods. There was a hospital that was flooded just last year because of, in the city you're facing floods. Really?
Exactly.
So because it's, I don't know, but we should find ways of appreciating green spaces.
Yes.
Because even the few existent ones are having issues with accessibility. Like there are strong there is strong security enforcement on like the entries. So if you're making it a private, because most of these should be public, they should be open to the people. In that, when I know we watch some of these movies, yeah, and you see in the movies, possibly some people even find their mates by the roadside seated in the grass or wherever.
I'm yet to hear of a story, or, you know.
Exactly, but in Uganda, most of them you'll find yourselves in the most random places, I should say. But imagine you met the love of your life in a park while you were just seated thinking about life. And then life avails itself. Exactly. So that's just one of the things. But accessibility is really hard.
Yes.
That,
exactly.
Yes, people are not able to access. There is strong enforcement on the entries, and also, yeah, it's still lacking.
Yes, and you've talked about a number of things that I want us to get back to, and that is the maintenance bit. What for you is a basic requirement for a green space? What must it have? By the time it's a green space, we've seen quite a number of them. I think the one around Parliament was supposed to be a green space. And what do you think is a basic minimum requirement for a public and a green space?
Yeah, speaking of basic minimum requirements, guys, a public space should be having a toilet. To start with, a toilet.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about my life, and then I have to pee, but there is no toilet. Exactly. So it's not good, really. We should have at least toilets on like every public space. I mean green space, sorry.
Yeah.
And we should have waste bins. So that if you're going to have a snack with your friends, there is somewhere to drop that litter. Because if everyone is coming in the way they want, if everyone is having something to eat, something to drink, and they're dumping the bottles, the caveras, because some people don't have that discipline of, let me keep the trash and dump it somewhere. Some of them just get that litter and dump it wherever they want.
True.
Or they'll just dump it where they're seated and leave it there. So because of the poor maintenance, you find this litter can compile. But if you have clear instructions on like the waste bins, on like also places of ease, where someone can easily ease themselves, and Wi-Fi.
Oh.
Yeah, we need Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi?
Exactly. If it's a public green space, let me rest under a tree with some Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi is quite controversial because if our Ugandans find out in the green space there is Wi-Fi,
it will be congested.
It will be congested and it becomes harder. But anyway, Wi-Fi.
Yes. So toilets. So toilets, litter bins, and yeah, basics.
Yes, basics. And of course we do
and
need
some
that.
sitting areas, by the way. Yes, because if some people are not comfortable sitting down on the grass, so if they're like just some mini benches, that would be a very good idea.
Yes, and another aspect I really want us to expound on is one of protections against people who want to access these green spaces. I've noticed that many of these green spaces are actually private. Now, when you look at the one of CJ's, it is a private one. And of course, there are limitations, or just that CJ's has really made it accessible as long as you really want to access it. So the restrictions, I think, now come back to who owns this kind of space and what's their vision for the same. But ideally, these are supposed to be made open to the public. And what do you think should be done in order for us to have more of these? And this is as we wrap up, because we already have green spaces, but because of poor maintenance or limited access to these, we are not appreciating them or embracing them. So the few that are there, how can they be maintained, and how can we ensure that we have more of these? So I'm bringing this question as a way of what's the future? What is the vision of these green spaces 10 years from now? A green space that has been created today, shall we find it 10 years from now, 5 years from now?
10 years from now, let's look at having buildings with vertical plants.
I actually think 10 years is far-fetched. I mean, countries like Japan, China are having all this happening, and I'm like, we might be a third world country, but we can do this.
Exactly,
okay?
we might be a third world.
So how about we stretch it?
Yes, stretching is possible.
Yes,
but also we can't neglect the small steps, starting from just vertical plants on your fences, on your roofs. Yes, this is bringing out the beauty, but it's also promoting the green in the city. So if we can have vertical plants along the fences, we can have some people designate areas just to relax. That is just green trees and sitting areas. I applaud people that have gardens. Yes, but nowadays you find some gardens are not even gardens, but it's just a term. But there are some people that have made it deliberate to have these gardens with trees, with grass, with a few flowers, making this whole place look beautiful. So let's work together towards achieving all these things. Yes, because we might have the challenges existent, but there is a lot that we can still do. With the maintenance, if we are setting up these green spaces, let's look at having the minimum requirements of just sitting areas, waste bins, and also toilets. So that it becomes easier for people to come. That even when I want to celebrate my birthday, I can celebrate it under a tree. I can just come with my picnic mats and celebrate with my friends. So if we can have more of these spaces, I love the fact that some people are creating them on a private basis.
Yeah.
But also if the government can come and partner with some of these private people, they can, private partnerships can also yield more of the green spaces in the cities. Yes, so with maintenance and all these things, let's also try to make it a little bit accessible. I'm sure some of these security guys look harsh. That's why people don't even access.
They're trained.
Yes, you're trained, but you're trained to also smile. You're only supposed to be harsh on the battlefield. So, but that aside, let's try to have the security people in some places, because it also makes people timid to access some of these areas if they're looking at security here, security there. That's why you're finding even like CJ's is one of the green spaces, but it's also not accessed by so many people.
Yeah.
Yes. But because I believe some people look at the whole security and stuff.
Past the security,
which is
for the layman who's really
who just wants to release stress.
Yeah, it becomes a bit intimidating, given that some people, maybe the humble ones, find it inaccessible because they feel like, oh, it's for the rich. Oh, I can't get in there. So at the end of the day, that could be a factor as well.
But the security people are also needed, though, because anything can happen in a space like that.
Yeah,
someone can just go to relax and crime, theft and stuff. So we need them, but also if we can just have them in certain areas which are not so intimidating for people to access some of those green spaces. Yes, but also to the construction company, it's crucial. It's crucial. I love some of the companies that are already trying to promote some of these things. Because I can give an example of like Nexus Green. This is not so green space, but they're trying to have solar panels installed on like the rooftops of people. This is something people didn't adopt initially, but I'm sure the people that are using some of those panels are seeing the benefits.
Yeah.
So sometimes it takes a step to build into another, to build into a greener city. So and also the companies out there that are that are responsible for green spaces out there, let's push forward for this. If we can have more people advocate for this, that would yield great results. Yes.
Thank you so much, Samantha. We've come so far that I didn't keep track of time. But anyway, I'd like you to give us a few final remarks in a minute or so. What do you want whoever is viewing us to take away with them? Yes.
Let's embrace green spaces in our homes, in our offices, different apartments. Let's put this effort. Let's have collaborative effort to achieving the greener spaces in these cities. Because at the end of the day, as I mentioned earlier, that what we are doing now is going to affect our future generations. If we think that having buildings and pavements everywhere without anything green is good for us, we might have to face bad repercussions in the long run.
Exactly.
So if we act now, we are saving the future.
Yes.
And that's what sustainability is all about. SDG 11, it has the targets of promoting greener spaces.
Yes.
So if we can work together with responsible companies and the different initiatives out there that are promoting a greener city, let's push forward for this.
Yes.
Yes,
Thank
for a
you
sustainable future.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Samantha. We've heard it from her. I couldn't emphasize the aspect of sustainable cities much longer. And this is what we are here for, to make sure that you appreciate the fact that environmental issues do concern us, green spaces do concern you and I. And always remember, you can catch our show live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. on UCTV, that is the Environmental Dialogue, and on YouTube you can find us there at 9 p.m. So make sure not to miss out on any of the details. I remain Patience Alaso, your host, and have a lovely year and a lovely evening. Thank you.
Bye.
Na 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 na. God.
UCTV. Good news for all.